Hey everybody, I'm out after a long day, a little tired, but wanted to say hi. So, in the past I've given you all a definition about the ego. I described it really as the personality, which I think is very accurate, but the ego, more so than that, is really the identification with the personality, not necessarily the personality itself. In our path here that we talk about, talk a lot about that sense of separation, right? Because the personality is the psychological function that attempts to survive on its own, because of course it feels separate, right? Why else would it try and do that? It believes that it's responsible for getting love, for getting safety, for getting its money, for getting its needs met, the battle, I hate to call it that, but it's a source of gosh, there's so many mythological stories about battle. It's such a powerful image, you know, but there's a clear meaning of battle that I want to describe, and it's really just two opposing parts. Two parts. One part that wants one thing, and then another part that wants another thing. So there's a conflict. There's a conflict of interest. And the battle, quote unquote, that gets played out here in non-duality, for no one, by no one, okay? It's a very important part. And it's not a whitewashing part by any means. It's just a certain level of a foundation that we need here to talk about non-duality. If you haven't gotten that no one or no thing part yet, then you risk your thoughts hijacking a lot of the teachings that non-duality offers here. Not just here, but in general. So lots of speakers talk about that. I won't get into that now. Anywho, the battle, or the opposing parts that are coming to the forefront heavily, okay? Because what I've noticed is that opposition's normally in place, and then kind of like when you get into non-duality and the awakening process, it's almost like it fixates even more intensely. The opposing parts that are having a conflict with one another, but the two opposing parts are being and ego. And the reason this is a little tricky to talk about, because the reality is that they are technically in and of one thing. But when you have a strong identification with ego, then there's a lot more suffering and friction and tension than there really truly needs to be, honestly. So the goal for each of these parts is control, power, and this is a very, very, very unfortunate game for the ego, because the ego doesn't have any power, because it's not the one in charge. So the more that it resists accepting what is, allowing what is, surrendering to what is, again, I'm limited to verbiage here. If I had a more poetic way to describe some of these things, I would, but for the sake of just quick little note today, I just want to use the spiritualized terminology here, which has a ton of imagery and meaning attached to it, but it is what it is. Anyhow, so you end up with this ego that believes it's in charge, wants to stay in charge, and doesn't really want to back down. And when awakening happens, what's it do? Hey, you know what it does. It gets stronger. It says, no awakening, go away. Oh wait, but I want it because it'll make me feel better. Oh wait, but it'll be a good thing. What do I do? What do I do? And being the silent, still being, it just sits there waiting patiently, you know. No time, eternal presence, you know, emanating through the eyes, through the sound, through the imagery. Just waiting. So my question for you today is, how much longer are you going to go on letting that sense of separation have its illusory power? And how much longer is it going to take you until you finally let go? How much longer? You could do it right now. Wouldn't be you doing it. It would be life doing it. It's doing it all the time. It's doing it right now. Let's let this biker pass. So yeah, it's a poignant message today because it comes from a deep calling within you. Because we all have the same calling here. And it comes from this true place, this really honestly exhausted place, because we get exhausted on this path. And that's really the point. The ego has to get spent. It has to play out its antics. It has to take you to that brink of insanity. I've seen it happen. I've been in it. I know you have too. I've talked to a lot of you who've been there as well. So we know what we're saying here, right? Many great spiritual teachers talk about this point. But it's only when the ego's I don't even know. We could call it sense of separation. Ego has so much energy attached to it too. Do you see my limitations here? Vocabulary wise. But that sense of separation, how much longer is that going to go on? Okay, that's what I wanted to say today. And sending you lots of love wherever you are. Take good care. Bye-bye. Okay, I'm back because I just realized that could be pretty triggering for a lot of people. Because when you get to that point of just like, you know, how much longer? It's kind of intense. So I will add a little PS to this video. If what I just said triggers you because you still feel stuck and helpless and in conflict with yourself, I think a very good investigation to do at that level is to kind of get really clear on how this conflict, this existential conflict, is playing out in your life. Is it playing out in your relationship, in your job, in your health? Where are the grounds of that battle for awakening? And where is the energy going there? What is true for you there? Like be honest with yourself. You know, this is where that really practical side of truth comes in. Genuine honesty. Like what do you know has to happen? And then what aspect of your being is, well, what part of you, I guess we could say, is still stuck in the past and playing out an old, kind of outdated, predictable story. Because that story, guys, it's bullshit. The past is dead. It's not here anymore. None of that is true. It was true then, but it's not true now. And for you to make it true now, for you to cling to that and allow that to suffocate you and hold you in this place of suspension and stuckness and conflict, is for you to reject your own being, you know? And sometimes, guys, it's just time to let go. It just is. And it's not fun, and none of us want to do it, and it's scary as hell. But, you know, it's like, my dad once said, you just kind of jump in the icy cold water and it sucks at first and then it's fine. Yeah. And then those of you that polar plunge know what's going on. And I'm actually right at the spot where I go swimming in the river. So maybe I'll shoot a quick note there. Maybe I won't. But anywho, just wanted to add that little part. Do you guys see? Beautiful view behind me. Another thing I wanted to say is that letting go is not up to you. Sometimes letting go just means accepting what is. Doesn't necessarily mean quitting your job, signing divorce papers, or taking out a significant bank loan that you can't afford. Do you know what I'm saying? Sometimes letting go just means, and that's the other thing, you can't really be what is because you're always with what is, but there's a certain level of awareness here, right? Can you be in touch with that? That's all I'm saying when I say let go. Can you be in touch with who you are? That empty, infinite, vast acceptance, right? That's always here. It's always here. All right, here we go. Here's my swimming spot. Should I tell you my duck story? Duck story part 2, if you've been with me a while. You know part 1 about the domesticated ducks that somebody left here and they've like fended for themselves for like 2 years. One of them got eaten by a fox, and now, well, there was 3 of them. One got eaten by a fox, another one got, something happened to it. And they were always really friendly because people would actually come and feed them here on the shore, and so they were super friendly. And then the one single duck ended up by itself. It's a male, I believe, or if no, yeah, it's a male, and ended up by itself. Super sad because he had a buddy for so long, and then all of the sudden, like, all these wild ducks join this guy, and normally they have like tons of conflict because it's the wild duck versus the domestic duck, but at this point we could call the domestic duck like rewilded, like he's been out here surviving for a while. Anyhow, the funniest behavioral change happened. Like all of a sudden this like domestic duck started acting scared of all the people just to try and fit in with the wild ducks, literally. Like now if you even come even a little bit near him, he just like skedaddles. Because again, he needs the group for survival, so he doesn't want to be the odd one out. But anyhow, just thought I'd do a little river action here while we're at it. All right? So we shall see each other soon. Take good care. Have a lovely evening. Bye-bye. Okay, if you stuck around with me, lucky you, because look who came by today. All these little friends. They wanted to say hi to you. We'll see who moves first, us or them. I should title this video Safari with Kate. Desert Safari with Kate. Oh, they don't want to move. That's fine. We gotta get going though, because the sun's going down. That's so nice of them to come say hi to all of you. How lucky of us. Aww. Goodbye, sun. Goodbye, day.